I'm a fake, phony, and an imposter. That I make a promise and I break my own promises. I'm not reliable, and my reputation with myself is horrible.
There's a war going on. Good versus evil. Light against darkness. Truth against lies. I'm talking about the war in your head. Strength versus weakness. Long-term success versus short-term gratification. Building versus decay. And what's hard about this war is it is you. Both sides. You against you. How do you win? You have to fight. You have to struggle. You have to scrap and claw. And you have to attack.
When you want something bad enough, when it's hurting you enough, you'll change. Behavior that we're married to, behavior that we have a hard time changing, the reason we have a hard time changing it is because fundamentally some part of us believes it's an answer. This is true specifically about addiction, and there's different forms of addiction, and humans in general have addictive behavior. It's part of how our brains work. But if you look at addiction, when you see people doing things that we would normally consider destructive addictive behavior, when we look at it, I would challenge everybody to stop looking at it like it's the problem and reframe it to this is this person's attempt at a solution. They're trying to come up with a solution in their life. Now, we may look at it and go, that's a poor attempt at a solution, but if that's all they know, which is why very often when you see people change in a moment because they got to a point where they were 100% convinced the behavior wasn't the solution.
I wake up, I'd never hit the snooze button because I actually have turned off the snooze feature on my iPhone, and I know you could do it off Android if someone's got Android, because you're making a promise to yourself the night before that I'm going to set my alarm, I'm going to wake up at 5:30. And if you break that promise by hitting snooze, you now have sent a message to your subconscious mind that I'm a fake, phony, and an imposter. That I make a promise and I break my own promises. I'm not reliable, and my reputation with myself is horrible. With that in mind, do you think you're going to win the rest of the day? Probably not, right?
You are not your past. You're you. You're you right now. Like the past you did, you might have done some things you wish you hadn't done. Don't dwell on that. You learn from it, that's fine, but don't dwell on it. Just keep moving. Use it as fuel. Say never again. I get what I did wrong, but don't think that you're that person that made those mistakes. You're the person who's learning.
Now let me say this before I move forward, and I can't explain it, but you better feel me. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know how it happens, but I'm from Detroit, and my team, the Detroit Lions, they've lost their entire existence, and every year they find a way to lose. We can be up by 10 points. My man just throw the ball to the other team, they get it and score. I don't know how it happens, but losers lose. And I don't know how it happens, but winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, if you keep letting losing happen to you, if you keep letting people do you and treat you any kind of way, it's going to become a culture.
Winners get all the hate. Stop being confused that everybody's supposed to like you when you win. People don't like the winner like Michael Jordan was a most hated player when he was winning all the time. LeBron was hated. Kobe was hated. Steph Curry's probably hated. Draymond Green is hated.
Right, there's a quote by Kobe that said, every single day I was pursuing perfection, even though I knew I would probably never touch it. But just the fact that I was willing to pursue it, I would defeat and dominate most of my opponents because most of my opponents would never chase something that didn't have any guarantees attached to it. Right? Most people need guarantees in order to be great. Right? Most people need to be promised something in order to be great. Most people need to be given something in order to be great. Right? The special ones. They show up on the strength of integrity, on the strength of character, and on the strength of who they are as people.